Andrew, yeah, there's often a feel with Brian Flores that he has a strong personality. So, from what I understand, there are people who can think that maybe he's difficult to work with, and maybe that was Steve Ross and some of Chris Breer's connection. I spoke to a coach and a player this morning, sent out a text when I heard the news, and I got two responses. One said stunned, the other said WTF, I'm pissed. So he did have fans in that locker room, in that building. There wasn't this whole idea that, Flores, no one likes him. He had a lot of fans there, but maybe his most important relationships were the ones that ended up getting him canned. I've been told that the relationship with him and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had been deteriorating over the second half of the season. A lot of people in Tua's camp weren't happy with how they handled the messaging as far as him and the quarterback and Deshaun Watson situation. And as Ian and Tom talked about, the relationship between he and Chris on a lot of decision-making processes were also really something that kind of hit on the head. And I actually sent a text to someone regarding the Deshaun Watson thing this morning, asked him if he felt like this would change Miami's interest, and he just sent me a text back, yep. So that's one thing to watch as we go into the offseason.
I would also point to the instability on his coaching staff, right? He cycled through some coordinators, cycled through some assistant coaches. There was sort of that whiff of instability there. And then certainly the handling of Tua last year and this year, I think, could have been handled a little bit more deftly. Those seem to be mistakes of a first-time head coach, somebody who was sort of feeling his way, who had been in New England for a long time, and this was his first chance and had to figure out his staffing and had to figure out what was obviously a very delicate quarterback situation and is going to be a delicate quarterback situation for whoever the next guy is. I will say this about Brian Flores. There's going to be plenty of interest in Brian Flores in this hiring cycle coming up now. He has a lot of fans in the NFL. Obviously, he was in New England and was quite successful in New England for a long time. And the fact that they had two winning seasons in Miami speaks well of him. Yes, there may have been instability. Yes, they had a strange quarterback situation, two winning seasons. And again, he pulled them out of a hole, an early season hole. That speaks well of Brian Flores. I expect that there will be plenty of interest in him for these openings now.
Yeah, Judy, I'm going to press pause on that. Plenty of interest in Brian Flores. We just don't know. Look, we've seen three defensive coaches already get go. Some offensive coaches have let go. But I'm going to pump the brakes to see. And, that's not so much speaking to him, but just the hiring issue right here. I'm going to back into this a little bit here because some things Judy and Cam have talked about, showing some signs, some indecisiveness of younger coaches, first-time coaches, this and that. A lot of coaches do get more patience to show their wear, and Brian Flores being 24 and 25 isn't the worst. However, I have covered this league long enough to know that coaches don't often get fired for coaching reasons. And you heard Stephen Ross talk about the lack of collaboration. Judy, you mentioned it, going through coaches, the decision with the co-offensive coordinators this year. They're just never
without admitting who was calling plays.
Without admitting who was calling plays. You're right, Andrew. There's so much stuff that just honestly didn't make sense. Like, why do it? Just be honest, be transparent. And if you want to be Belichickian, do it that way. But just kind of the way some things were handled just didn't work there. And just talking to people throughout the league since training camp, leading into training camp, again, some of the relationships, some of the way Brian Flores handled things with people just didn't sit well with some other people. Again, is he alone with this as a head coach? Not necessarily. But what Stephen Ross said, the way he wants his team run, collaboratively, Brian Flores just was not the guy for that. Not necessarily surprising firing Andrew, but again, one that maybe lacked a little patience. But if they think this is going in the wrong direction, at least they got out in front of it right now.
It was really a tale of two seasons. The second half of the season, they won 7 games in a row. They're a great story here. But the first half of the season, it was difficult to watch Brian Flores stand up there every single day and have to deflect the questions about Deshaun Watson, have to praise Tua, or at least
Jacoby Brissett was in there too.
There's Jacoby Brissett in the middle of this as well, where ownership was at least considering, from what all we were hearing, Deshaun Watson. And Flores had to be the one out there to handle it on the podium every day. At the same time, you have a young quarterback who you're trying to bring along. A young quarterback who, heading into Week 17, by the way, was leading the league in completion percentage. Now, you could argue everything's a slant in the bubble and nothing's going more than 10 yards downfield, but fine, they found a way to win. And then we sit here.
Just real quick, you saying he had to answer these questions all the time? That's his decision.
Correct.
He set that one-voice culture, so that part's on him.
That's a fair point.
Yes.
The Dolphins right now keep Chris Greer as general manager, but are looking for a new head coach.